Hi everybody, MVP here. Just want to give you an update on what happened last week. A week that was very, very exciting and roller coaster in the markets. Volatility is the oxygen of trading, and we certainly got plenty of oxygen last week to help us make some money. Okay, I'm going to keep the same kind of process here, what we always do every time on these weekly updates. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through my FX correlator on a 500 setting. This is on a 500 setting 1 hour. This is the start of the week, earlier on, just coming into August, and up to the 5th on Friday, just gone. I'm also going to run you alongside the US 30, the Dow, and just to show you what happened there, and just show you the winners and losers currencies this week. Okay, then we'll run through my 80-20 system and just see if we made any money on that. Okay, let's go. Let's start with the winners during the week. Won't be too much of a surprise. Okay, can you see the three currencies I've highlighted in bold there? They were the predominant winners this week. They made money. They improved or went upwards in value on this particular chart. So you can see this is the start and this is the end here. And anything really that started here and got higher, to me, is a net gain in the week. Okay, no surprise. The Swissy. Phenomenal week for the Swissy. It's my tip for the second half of the year, as you know, if you follow my Trade to Win site. And I couldn't have asked for much more this week, despite the efforts of the Swiss National Bank to dump its currency on Wednesday here. You just can't stop the markets. The market forces will prevail when we have generally a very, very, very adverse bearish feeling in the markets for equities, as you can see here on the Dow. Which dropped a lot of points during the week. You can't fight the markets, and people will flee to currencies that they perceive to be safe. And the Swissy has been topping the list there. So huge aggressive gains first couple of days. The Swiss National Bank, as we said, tried to reduce its value, and to no avail Thursday. Friday it came off a bit, but Thursday it was steaming back, and anything they were trying to reduce it in value by here on Wednesday came through. So the top winner this week was definitely the Swissy. Crazily enough, in terms of the market, if you look, this is the greenback, the US dollar. It actually did very well during the week. Despite what everybody thought and despite all the disasters that were going on, it actually held its own. Probably and primarily from the fact that equity markets were crashing, and despite everything else going on, people still feel that is a relatively safe-ish haven. Perhaps there are other reasons, but that's the reasons I put it down to market forces. Last but not least, based on the 8 currencies I'm looking at here, the pound did okay. Started off with a bad Monday, that's for sure. Then stayed flat Tuesday, and then really picked up for the last 3 days. Why? Well, I think mainly because it was such a bad week, and people were running around trying to find what to buy or what felt safer than others. So it was really the currency with the least impact or least risk. I think the austerity measures that we put in place in the last year or so, held us in good stead this week. So the pound did fairly well. And that was it in terms of what I call currencies that were relatively impressive during the week. Okay, let's look at the losers, shall we? Okay, I've highlighted 2 currencies there. If you can see them, the turquoise is the New Zealand dollar here, and the kind of orangey colour, goldy colour is the Aussie dollar. These 2 guys really took some pain this week off of the fears of the lack of global growth or negative growth, whatever you want to call it. These guys were always in the firing line, and they took severe hits. You can't be a winner all the time, and these guys certainly took the pain this week. So they were the losers. So bad luck, guys. A bad performance there for our southern hemisphere friends. Okay, what do we got left? Well, we've got the brown Canadian dollar there. We're going to talk about. We're certainly going to talk about the yellow yen here, and also the euro. The yen and the euro. Oh, sorry, yeah, the euro obviously being a very, very big player this week as well. So let's have a talk about those 3. Okay, again, if you read the papers, you read the FT, any of the financial papers, Wall Street Journal, everything, everyone was saying that commodities had a bad week this week because crude has been struggling a little bit. Alongside most other things, to be perfectly honest. I don't think CAD did that badly, actually. I mean, CAD was kind of linked in with the Aussie dollar and the New Zealand dollar as being the 3 commodity currencies. But if you can see, this was the start of the week, this was the end of the week. Sure, it came off, but I think the others took more pain. So the Canadian dollar, again, I think because it has quite tenuous or relatively, strongish links with the US dollar, which did well this week. I don't think it took the pain as much. That was my feeling on the CAD, but it still did fall in the week, that's for sure. The euro, well, God, where are we going from? After last week's euro fund, this week obviously it came in. It was just pretty much a roller coaster. Again, this is the start of the week. This is the end of the week. It actually finished a net bullish. It finished net upwards, but that wasn't after big roller coasters. So on Monday there was a big sell-off. Tuesday was flat. Wednesday a big rise in the week. Thursday it fell. Friday it rose. Wow! I mean that's demonstrating all the normal performance you expect on volatility from the pound. But the euro, each day it woke up, it decided to do something else. So a big volatile week on the euro. But to me, it was still relatively net flat compared to some of the others. And then last but not least, the yen. Okay, everybody knows the way I tend to play the markets. I look for equity markets, say, for example, falling like they did this week. And then I look for currencies like the US dollar and the yen and even the Swissy to be rising. And I take the trades based on those leads. And that's not unique. That's obviously something a lot of people do in the global markets. This week, therefore, you would have expected the yen to be rising. Now, we all know here again, or you should know if you read the Forex press, there are two major countries in the world where the national banks do intervene quite significantly when they have to. That is the Swissy, which intervened this week, or the Swiss National Bank intervened this week on Wednesday, and the Bank of Japan that has been very significant this year in terms of trying to suppress the value of its currency. Those guys came very heavily in during Thursday, Wednesday into Thursday, and as you can see here, that that is not market forces. That is the Bank of Japan dumping the yen and going out and buying what they could. And if you look at where this happened, Wednesday into Thursday, you can see it certainly would have been picking up some euro, and I suspect it certainly went for the yen because it knew that it could make money doing that. It could actually profit by selling the yen and making money on the Swissy. So these guys were kicking chunks out of one another, in other words. So the yen this week should have been up here by the end of the week. It wasn't because of the Bank of Japan's continued and sustained selling. It held. You see here as well, Thursday into Friday. Again, my suspicions are based on here the fact that the equity markets were still falling. This is the Bank of Japan selling to suppress that. Again, otherwise it would have been up here. So a very interesting week. Always be aware of those kind of things when you're playing Forex, because you can't beat the markets. So whether you go with what the Bank of Japan are doing and try and make some money off of their sales, always be aware that the market knows that game, and the wall of money that came from traders and speculators globally and other things, the banks, they came back in because they knew the yen could not be suppressed. So very interesting the week, fascinating. That's what makes Forex so fascinating. Okay, if you're looking at this chart, I'm just going to flick up a chart and show you something that is of interest to anyone who's a gold bug out there. I don't trade gold primarily, I trade Forex, but gold is certainly something that's always on my radar, watching for opportunities. Okay, can you see here, on the left is the chart we've just looked at. This is on the same setting, and what I put in here, you see this this kind of in bold. This is gold. If you just look across here or freeze the chart, you'll see that everything else is pretty much set in the same way, just slightly. It just slightly moved in variation, but it will still be very much the same setup everywhere. What I'm showing here. There are a few anomalies, but we won't go into detail. The main thing is I just wanted to show you this is gold. Now, this is gold based in its relative price. It's not gold valued in dollars. It's gold valued in its relative price. The same as everything else here is valued almost like an index, an individual currency's relative price and value against other currencies. And as you can see, no surprise, you read it in the papers, gold is doing very, very well. And as you can see, it's doing well. Although it is pretty much tracking the power of the Swissy. You see what I mean? So don't just buy gold blind. Think about it when you're buying gold. But clearly, at any time when, say, the US dollar is relatively weak, that's always going to be a good time to look at, acquiring gold, because it in effect, the falling price of the US dollar is giving it a boost. Anyway, it's been a good week for gold as well. Okay, very, very quickly, we're going to run through my free system that I offer at my Trade to Win site. This is the 80-20 FX correlator system. This is on an 80 moving average, this is on a 20, and this is my Dow with an 80 there and a 20. All I do is I look for correlation. When I get my yen and my dollar both above the zeros or both below the zeros, on these two charts, I look for opportunities to trade the other currencies. I also tie that in with how the Dow is doing. I'm not going to go into detail because if you don't know it, go to my Trade to Win site and look for details. Just going to talk you through some trades in the week, okay? First trade was here. So basically, the Dow was falling all through the week. So I was looking really for more trades when these guys were both above the dotted line and selling into any currencies that were both below the line. So here was my first trade of the week. It was on Monday. It was probably coming into the early US session. You see they're both up here, and we were selling anything, and there was plenty of sales. You see all the guys down here? They're all sales. So there was some money. So that was the first big trade of the week on the 1 hour on Monday, probably coming into the US session. Okay, next really big move was on the Tuesday. You see here, this is early Asian going into early London session. You see again, they both pop up again. The yen pops up here. And again, you look to sell anything that's below the line. Massive selling going on the Aussie dollar there. As you can see, we knew the Aussie dollar got killed this week. Come across to here, you see, this is why. I'm still selling the Dow, so that works fine for me in terms of correlation. I won't go on through Wednesday because you can see on Wednesday, because the 20 moving average got below the zero here, I'm not trading. Okay. Thursday, wow, this was the yen intervention. Now, because the yen intervention to me completely messes up all the correlation because we have intervention by an external force, which was the Bank of Japan, I don't trade because I've got my dollar hugely high and I've got my yen low. So that's not the way the system works. The system is not designed to do that. Came back here. You see how the yen finally, under pressure from markets, comes back above. It took a while to come back above, but probably into the late US session, we finally got back into action. That's when I was looking again. So I was looking here to buy my two guys here and sell anything. And again, we had a few opportunities, mainly on the Comdols. Certainly the New Zealand dollar, you would have made money there selling it when it came in. The Aussie dollar was flattening out. And that really continued all the way through. As you can see, these guys are still up. The 20 is starting to come off a bit here. It came out here, and actually after that, we didn't really have any more trades. You see the 20 got below the line, and my 80s are still above the line. So Friday really wasn't that much of a trading day. It was just continuation of Thursday. So there was about three or four big trades there I've just shown you. Very simple. Very, very simple. Use the system. It's free at my trade to win. I hope you have a good trading week next week. This is MVP signing off, and just be careful out there, okay? Because it's very, very volatile. Okay, cheers all. Bye.